Hi everyone, I'm Nikki Mills from Vineyard Community Center, here to talk to you about the Power Words strategy. Power Words is a great strategy you can access right there in your Aperture platform. We use it at our center to talk, with kindergarten through 12th grade. We even use it as an adult SEL strategy for a team building activity for our adults as well. I want to talk to you, of course we adapt it accordingly, to the age group we're serving at that moment. I want to talk to you about how we use it with our youngest group of students, our kindergarten through 5th grade students. So we start the activity talking about the power of words. We ask students, what do you know about the impact of words? How can words impact us? And of course, we talk about how we can encourage one another. Words can build us up. We also talk about how words have the power to destroy us, to tear us down, to have impact that can, lead into the way that we operate as adults. And so we have a visual that we use with the younger students. And honestly, you could use this with anybody. This is just how we approach this with our kindergarten through 5th grade group. So we just take a paper heart. I have one cut out of normal size letter paper. You can have a very large heart. You can have smaller hearts, individual hearts per student. Doesn't matter. We just use a paper heart. And I've seen a couple variations on this, but I'm going to show you one that we used recently that had, I think, pretty powerful impact. So we ask students to think for a moment about words that have been spoken to them or to about them that have been hurtful. Now, I want to preface this with reminding us that this is a really vulnerable activity that we're asking youth to do. So it's super important that we create a safe space and talk about how, the words that we share are going to stay in this room. We're going to open up to one another a bit as much as students are comfortable. So this is probably not a first day of school activity. After you've established some relationships in the community of your students, this would be a great activity to do. So we take these hearts, and as students share words, we crumple a little bit of the heart to show that we're damaged. So someone may share that they were called stupid, and so we would just crumple a little bit of the heart. And then someone else may share that they were called ugly. Someone may share, there are going to be so many words they share. Be ready as the adult leader and learner in the room to respond in a non-anxious way. So as students are sharing multiple words with you, you're just going to continue to crumble sections of your heart. I think it is powerful when we share our own examples with our students as well. So I think you share some that impacted you. And the point is, when you've shared a lot of these words, you're going to end up with a heart that doesn't look very happy. And so we talk about that when we say words, they have power, and damaging words kind of stick to our hearts a little bit, and they stick in our minds a little bit, and they're impactful. So then we talk about, what could we do? What are things that we can try to do when words have been spoken? And students may tell you that, you can apologize. You can say something nice. There are different things you can do. So I'm going to take this heart really quickly on my table here, and I'm going to try to straighten it out. So we tell students, as we apologize, as we try to make amends, we can try to straighten out the wrinkles in the heart or make amends for the words that we have spoken. So then we hold our hearts back up, and we ask students what they notice. And the point is to notice that although we straightened our heart out as much as we could, I've even seen people iron them to try to prove the point, the effects are still there. We can still see that this was damaged, right? The effects are still there. And so it's just a visual to demonstrate the lasting impact of words. And something impactful that we have done is, as students were vulnerable with you and shared words that were spoken to them or about them, we also want to take time to address those and to possibly bring healing, to rewrite some of those words on their hearts, if you will. And so a way that you can do that, and again, it's going to depend on the age of your students. If they're just learning to read and write, you might have to alter this a bit. If they're reading and writing, then, we kind of have them write down the words that were spoken to them or about them. So they're going to write it on a paper, and then we literally cross it out. And we say, this word is not true. I'm not going to receive this word about me. I'm not going to receive that I'm stupid. I'm not going to receive that I'm ugly. I'm not going to receive, that I'm not funny, whatever their words were. And then a really powerful exercise to extend this a bit, have them write their word down, have them cross it out. And then share their paper with their peers. Again, super vulnerable. It's important to emphasize that it is a safe space. Have them pass their paper around to their peers. Have their peers write positive, affirming words about them. When their paper comes back to them, now it doesn't say stupid. It's crossed out. And instead, it has all of these really positive things that my peers said about me. It might say that I'm smart, that I have value, that they're glad that I'm their friend. Whatever it is that they've written, our students are walking away with a word that's crossed out and all of these truths about them on the paper. Now, the younger students who maybe are not readers and writers quite yet, you just may need to help with this. So you may have it up on the board and you just write the words. So write it out, we're gonna cross it out, and then collectively as a class, if this was Nikki's word and we crossed it out, what can we write about Nikki? Just really, really powerful. Also insightful for you as a leader and to know some of the things your students are dealing with so that you as an adult can intentionally combat those words. So just a really simple way to do it. Another variation, I've seen some people, instead of crumpling the heart, they tear it. And so every negative word, they tear off a piece of the heart. Depending on the size of your heart, you might tear off large chunks or small chunks. Then at the end, instead of trying to smooth it out, they tape it back together. Same concept. You just, as you tape it, you see that it's still not as pristine as it was. As with any strategy, think about your audience. How can this be relevant to the students who you are serving? And, the goal is to talk about the power of words. The strategy, you can tailor that to your audience. We've mentioned this in other Power Words activities before, but as you're affirming students, as students are affirming one another and building into one another, a couple things that we've done, we've had a Power Word wall in our classrooms where as we think of encouraging positive phrases that we can use that go beyond something superficial. It's not just, I like your clothes, right? It's about you as a person. So as I like your optimistic attitude. I like how you're friendly. I appreciate that you're kind. As we think of powerful phrases that we can use in our classroom, or if we hear students use those, we might capture that and say, hey, that was a great power word. Let's write that down. Let's put it up on our power word wall. And it's amazing to see that build and to see students' paradigm shift as they want to speak words that you can put up onto that wall. Very, very encouraging. Another strategy that you can use, the I am poem, from the Aperture platform, as students are receiving these affirmations, to write that I am poem with those in their mind and then to own that. Very powerful. Take care, everyone. Be well.